All right. So we left off with mental health. I want to know how, what did you do to get ready to say, you know what, all or nothing? I'm not going back to a 9 to 5. I'm going to chase the future me.
That was really the decision being made for me, honestly, of BMC eliminating the job.
Mhm.
And I could have went and applied for other jobs, but it just didn't make sense. So in that moment, it was you need to bet on yourself. Like God has been telling you to do it. He's making everything so uncomfortable for you, and you still want to go back. And it was really that. It was really, all right, just take the chance. Because what I did know is I've always been a great employee.
Okay.
I could always get a job,
Yeah.
right? So why not bet on yourself? Here I am with this little baby, right? New
Yeah.
baby. It's like, just bet on yourself and do it.
Yeah.
And I did. And I can say there's a lot of ups and downs, but it's been the most rewarding thing thus far.
Yeah. Wow. And you're doing this, and we didn't get to where you're at right now, but you're doing this and being an awesome mother because our boys went to the same school, and I see
Hmm.
you picking up your kid, and you're still the entrepreneur boss.
Yes.
Like a lot of people can't even balance that. Being
Yes.
a parent, a good parent, and chase your dreams. How do you do that?
So I believe it's just because I've been very intentional from the beginning. Like I
Hmm.
said, when I decided to have my son, I could not work for someone else. Because what does that look like working 80 hours a week and never seeing my child, right? And so he is my priority. And that's another reason why I take 12 events a year. Because when he starts to play sports and things like that, I don't want to miss those
Yeah,
games. I know that's important to him. He has concerts and things now. I'm at every single one.
yeah,
As you know, they're happening in the morning
yeah,
where other parents can't attend. But I didn't want that to be my
yeah,
life, right? And so I believe it's all about how you design your own life and how you structure it
yeah,
to make it make sense. I don't believe in you need to be so busy. I
yeah,
don't like the word busy, honestly. I like the word productive.
yeah.
I like getting things done, all these small little wins to get to the big thing,
Mhm.
but not where you're so busy and then what was the outcome? And
Yeah,
then the people close to you really sacrifice. You sacrifice the
yeah.
relationships with them when you're just busy all the time.
Mm, mm. So I love the fact that you said, you know what, 12 clients per year, four mentees at a time. So you really controlling your time.
Absolutely.
100%. No one is more in control of your time than you.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people jump in entrepreneur like, I'm about to do everything. I'm gonna do
Yes.
this. Yo,
Yes.
I'm busy. I can't be a good dad. I'm trying to get this money. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Yo, it's a sacrifice I gotta make to make sure you good, right? And you're saying no. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna create a budget. I'm gonna figure
Yes.
out how much I need to live, all
Yes.
right, live off of, and this is my price points,
Right.
so I can have this life and this life and be a phenomenal mother.
Yeah. And sometimes that's tough, right? Because I don't chase money. I do what I'm supposed to do. I show up how
Yep.
I'm supposed to in this world and believe that God's going to do his part.
Hmm.
So that whole let me be so busy and try to have 20 streams of income, but you're really making no money just never made sense to me.
Yeah.
Now, I can do a little bit better in terms of like assets and things like that. I have some, but I can do better.
Yeah.
But for
You
me,
will
I
do better.
live like in the now,
Yeah, you will do better.
right? I
Yeah.
will. Um, I live in the now. I
Hmm.
don't live in the future.
Hmm.
Right. And I know a lot of people do. And I know it's difficult when people hear me say that, even like my family, like, what? I would feel like you plan your whole life out. No, I don't. I live in the now. The future is not promised.
Yeah.
So, what can I do today
Yeah.
to get to where I want to be? And yes, I structured it with the 12 clients. I figured out how much I need to make
Yeah.
just so I have time.
Another good point. You said you live in the now, right? So again, becoming an entrepreneur, I'm thinking all type of stuff. Like at around 24, 25, I got my life insurance popping.
Hmm.
I got my, I just got everything. No kids. Didn't go on Match.com to meet Joanna. Like it's nothing. Just me by myself. And I'm thinking
Hmm.
about the future. Stuck on this future. I started buying kids' clothes everywhere I went. Like if I went to Vegas or different
Before
states,
you had a child.
before I had a child, I'm gonna get me a little girl.
Really?
I had the bibs. I had Wednesdays that says cool daddy stuff. At 25. My first child was at 30, right?
Wow.
And I now fall back and I'm realizing I'm I'm richer dead than alive.
Mm-hmm.
That bothers me. Like
Mm.
I'm way more wealthy my family's more wealthy without me in like
Mm.
around.
That's deep.
That is real deep. So I'm
That's
like,
deep.
yo, why did I focus so much on life insurance when that amount I could get today? Right? Like, oh, if I die, my family good. I know who I am, but why am I so excited to die and make sure my family's good?
Right.
Like I want to be alive and celebrate and blow money and have a lot more money and make sure my family good while I'm alive. Like,
Yes.
and I started doing a lot of research and I'm like, well, wealthy people don't even have life insurance. They have too much money in the
They have
bank to have life insurance. They
absolutely.
have too many assets. I have great assets, but I have this life insurance thing again. And then I figured out term and whole. Right?
Yes.
I understood both of them, but now I really get it. So I don't think either of them is bad. It's for a particular person. I think if you're an entrepreneur, you go with term.
Term. I have.
Term, you're like, all right, well, I need you to cover me until I get to my goal.
That's
When I
me.
get to my goal, see ya.
That's
I'm
me.
not paying you at all.
So that's me.
right. Whole is like, yeah, I want a 9 to 5 until I'm 60. I'm
Absolutely.
gonna retire when I'm, go to Florida or something. That's
Mm-hmm.
whole.
Right.
That's you're not betting on yourself. You want something stable.
Absolutely.
You're not paranoid when it goes or when it's about to expire. You're like, nope, I want it for life.
Yes.
Right. And it took me a little while to understand the kind of person that should go with term and whole. But when I figured it out, I'm like, man, how many people know this? Like, how many people really? Because I'm from Phil's Corner, so I'm thinking I'm being naive and I'm being ignorant. I'm thinking about wealth, and I'm like, yeah, I want to be rich and wealthy, and I'm gonna have whole insurance. I'm gonna have this. I'm gonna have that. And then I wake up one day, I'm like, man, my family's better off without me.
Yeah. But I think the way you're thinking makes sense, right? Because I think from what I know about you, you embody what a man and a husband is supposed to be, right? So you're forward thinking just to make sure your family's good. Where, as you know, talking to a lot of, especially black men, right? Because we're black. They're not thinking even like that. They're living more in just in the now, and they're not thinking of being a provider, right? And I think it's great that you thought that way. And now, like, you've done some research and you understand things differently, but you're making the money to make that make sense.
Right.
Now, if someone's not a hustler like you, they should not think like you're thinking, because then they're going to die and their family's going to have to pick up that burden. So for you, since you're so driven to make sure you're good with or without life insurance, is a beautiful thing. I just upped my life insurance to $1 million policy, but I have term because I could die tomorrow, and I don't want my son to not have that because I have not reached my financial goal for him to be good for a long time, right? So literally on Wednesday, just upped it. So I had my blood drawn and everything to up it to $1 million policy. But if someone doesn't have that money, or if you're well off, I think it's a beautiful thing, but not. I don't want people to think like Alex said, you don't need life insurance. Yes, we need life insurance, especially if you don't have the money that he's talking about.
And just know who you are.
You know who you
So
are.
you
Know what
which
works
one
for
to go.
you.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You definitely should have it. Don't settle for the one that your job give you. But you should go get life insurance. But you have to understand, all right, if you say, you know what, I'm a great employee, I'm making phenomenal money, I want to stay at this job for the next 40, 50 years, whatever, you should get whole. Right?
Yes.
Now, if you say, you know what, I'm gonna bet on me, I'm gonna roll the dice. I don't got a 401k right now, probably got an IRA, but I'm gonna rock with term because you can get a 30-year term.
Yes.
And so that means you have 30 years to make your
Change it
dreams
over.
happen.
Yeah.
30 years. If you can't make it in 30 years,
And then at that time, you can still switch it over to whole.
You still
Like,
can
even if
switch
you have
over.
term, you can switch it to whole if it's
Yeah.
if it's before that 30. If you just feel like you're not gonna reach those goals at all, like
Yeah.
you're giving up, then you can always switch it to whole. But yes, that
Correct.
makes perfect sense, and people
it's
should
the-
look
it's
at
just
it
the
that
bridge.
way. It
It's
is.
just the bridge, right? Your term is bridging you to the future you. Like I'm gonna cover you just in
Yes.
case something happened.
Yes.
To the future you. And once you get to the future you, be like, yo, term, old, forget y'all.
Right.
I have too many assets. My
Absolutely.
kids is good. My wife is good. My mama good. Three of my moms are good. We good. So it was just amazing to figure it out. A lot of people are like, I've been figured that out. But when I figured it out, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Because I sat down with a lot of financial advisors and they told me the definition of term and whole, but they didn't put it with a characteristic of like a person.
Right.
So
And they don't, because
yeah,
it's a money industry, right? And they don't
correct,
they want you to really get whole. So
correct,
they're not going to do that, right?
correct,
It's strategic.
correct. And now I'm telling everybody now they're like, I never thought about it that way.
Right.
Because it's simple. It's simple thinking.
Right.
It's simple thinking.
It's
It's
simple, but we're
somewhat.
not always
Sorry.
privy to. So
Correct.
I love the fact that you are dropping the knowledge that most people that we think now, like that you've acquired, that you're like, oh, this seems like common sense, but it's
Right.
not
It's
common
not.
to us.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that are hidden from us for a long time. And that's why when we do learn about it, we are supposed to share, right? And if somebody does something with the information, they do. If they don't, that's not on you. The fact of it is you were given this information, you're willing to share.
Yeah.
It will help someone.
Yeah, thank
right?
you. Thank you. So, event design, right?
Yes.
What was your biggest, I'll say, event that you ever designed? The
So
one.
not in terms of the look, but
The
the
look, the one
biggest
most
event.
important to you. You could the one that was more
They're,
important or
they're all so important because every event, what I try to do is,
different.
so let me tell you,
Yeah.
I'm hard on myself.
Yep.
So as beautiful as you guys think everything is,
Yeah.
I'm still like, yo, that could have been better. If I would have had more money, do you know what I could have done with this?
Yep.
And I would have done that. So I'm very hard on myself. So I'm like, oh yeah, these are nice. But in terms of my proudest moments, I love all my clients.
Yeah.
I love all my events. But this year probably has to be my two proudest moments. So in January, I did the inaugural ball for Governor Westmore of Baltimore. First
Okay.
time out of Boston.
Okay.
Right. And now this is politics. So now that I'm moving a little bit into corporate
Yeah.
and the political world, completely different. You know, in politics, they don't really do decor. But I've teamed up with Rosemark Production,
Uh-huh.
amazing Black owned production company. And now we're writing each other into everything. So they call me interested, want this decor for this 100,000 square foot space.
Okay.
Right. To host 15,000 people
I seen that.
for this inaugural ball.
Uh-huh.
So of course, anxiety.
Uh-huh.
Right. But this is like, God would not have presented this if it wasn't for you.
That's when you came in with your book bag?
Yes.
Was that video?
Yes.
All right, bet.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was my first time out of Boston. So that was Baltimore. Proud moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then now fast forward to last week, I was just in Israel,
Yes.
right? And did something for the U.S. Embassy of Jerusalem. We did their Independence Day celebration. It's a U.S. Independence Day celebration, but there,
Yeah.
you know, because we 75 years together.
Yeah.
So two proudest moments, because these are always things that I've shied away from a lack of confidence. Like, am I capable of doing something without the vendors that I have
And you
here?
are.
Right? And so to say I'm gonna do it anyway, because in despite of fear, like it's still fearful, like dealing with these people, not sure how the content is gonna come out or what the product's going to look like, still saying I got this. And I surprised myself how calm I was when I was there.
Israel. So, the lion.
The lion.
You dropped some knowledge on your
The
Instagram
lion.
about the lion.
That,
correct?
well, it's part of their crest.
Gotcha.
It's like their mascot, if you would say,
Gotcha.
for Israel. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know that until I was there.
Yeah.
So initially we were they tasked me with doing a luxury style picnic event.
Okay.
Then it changed to I want a carnival.
Okay.
We wasn't having a carnival. Like it just wasn't gonna happen. So I was like, let me try to add some carnival elements. So I had an elephant.
Yep.
I had a car.
The car.
I
Yeah, the blue
had
car.
the elephant. I don't have photos of it. Was in the parking lot. I did a whole backdrop with balloons and the elephant. And then I had the lion. And then when I found out about that, I was like, this is
It.
so dope, right? This is
Yeah.
it. And so then I put it right in the front, which I had to redesign when I got there,
Yeah.
right? Because now you're in the space and it's different. And now you have the embassy that has like walls and stuff that need to go up. So now it's just redesign, having to think on your feet.
So how do you jump to corporate? Like I'm brand new, but I want corporate. I'm doing great, but I want to go corporate.
Because I'm capable of anything,
Yeah.
right? I can
How you
scale
gonna
back.
teach me? Like if I wanted to jump into corporate, I'm doing a phenomenal job event designing, just like you, but I'm just not
It's-
getting that corporate contract.
It's the same thing. It's really putting yourself in spaces. Like I tell them, there is nothing like networking.
Yeah.
A lot of the opportunity, well, I planted the seeds,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I have, over the last few years, put myself in rooms
Mm-hmm.
that I can be recognized in the corporate realm. And that's all it is. It's networking. It's people knowing about you. So you don't see anything corporate-wise on my page, really. It's like over the top decor. But I'm capable of scaling back, right? And so that's just how I sell it. But they're still looking for that experience.
Yeah.
They just don't know. And the difference of working with me is nobody gets to see anything prior to. Not one of my clients, not one.
That's in contract.
And that is in the contract, and it's understood before you hire me. And I tell them that. So we go over, how do you want to feel? How do you want your guests to feel? What are your ideas? Like, right? And so I'm like, okay, so now let me tell you.
Dope.
Now let me tell you.
All right.
And honestly, I'm the only one in this industry that I know of that operates this way. Every coach, every person I spoke to, they're like, I wish. And I know when I get to my multi-million dollar, billion-dollar clients, that may change. However, for right now, and you can ask your wife, swear to God, I learned a lot about you when I did your thing. What does he do? What is he like? Everything that was at your in-home dining was a surprise to your wife. Nothing is okayed in advance. So it's truly a trust thing that I'm going to come in and make sure that it is beautiful. That is what I can guarantee. And you are going to feel like you are a part of that planning process, although you weren't, because the elements that we talked about are encompassed in the design.
Yeah.
But I do not share a detail. Just came from a walkthrough. And they're like, oh, well, can you walk me through like what you're doing in the space? It's like, yeah, no, that's not what we do.
So do you have a video, a cameraman there when you reveal for the very first time?
So I don't.
Okay.
And I'm thinking about it because now my coach has me where I'm going to move into the luxury market. So I'm going through a whole rebrand myself.
Okay.
Right. And then that's going to require staying at events and getting that footage.
Yeah.
Right now, I don't stay at events. Only in-home dinings.
Yeah.
My events, when the client comes, I leave. I don't have to go back. The vendors will come break down, everything like that. So I don't, but I will. So I have, when I'm doing that kind of stuff, like when in Israel or the governor, because these are multiple days of installation.
Yeah.
You're talking about 4 days.
Yeah.
That's production.
Yeah.
So all my production events, I have a cameraman that will follow me around the whole time and then capture the actual event itself.
Okay. So you said you're moving into luxury, right? So now what's that transition look like? How does that transition?
So it's a rebrand. So I have to change, well, she wanted me to change my name, and that is just really hard for me. I've tried to think about other names and it just doesn't feel right. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to change my logo. I'm going to make my name more clean and simple, change the colors, but just more appealing to a luxury market. Like say you stay at a 2-star hotel versus a 5-star hotel. This 5-star hotel, when you come in, you're going to get champagne. You're going to possibly get a gift in your room. The soap, everything is so different.
So you focus on experience.
Experience, because that's what luxury clientele cares about. How do you make them feel? They're spending multi-million dollars with you. Why? Right. So it's all about making people feel a certain way, then delivering the product.
You exactly right. I threw my first. We threw our first summit in June 24th. And so I have my team, and I'm like, all right, well, I need to focus only on experience.
Yes.
I want to make sure every speaker feels like a star.
Yes.
Like they the biggest thing on earth right now. When they when they with me at least. And then I want the audience to really be informed, right? So I want to host it because I know what questions I want to ask. So the audience could be like, oh, I never thought of it that way. Or, oh, I could do this right now as while they speak. And then I wanted to make sure that energy was in the room. So I have great energy. I want the entire world, the room, to feel that energy.
Yes.
So I want them to be excited. So we really focused on experience. So I'm like, all right, well, it's different summits and conferences in the world. But one thing I go to a lot, but the experience isn't there.
Yes.
Right? Even when you walk in, you talk about network. Well, guess what? It's like, what do? You go to everybody and say, what do you do?
Right.
What do you do? All right, I'm not even interested in what you do, but I already asked. I have to listen, right? And then I have to go to the next person, hoping that I'm finding the person that I'm looking for.
Right.
Right. So I'm like, all right, well, let's change that experience. Let's give a blue tag. A blue tag means you're in real estate. A green tag, guess what? You're in medical, right? And that's easier now because I'm looking at your tag. No, I want to be in real estate. Let me go to the blue tag. The person that's wearing a blue tag.
Right.
Just for the experience in the room. And so that I think a lot of people don't realize how important experience is.
Absolutely.
And experience is extremely valuable.
It is.
Yeah, you look nice, but did you feel like King Kong when you walk through?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Did you feel so important when you walk through those doors?
Well, and that's because you were intentional.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of people aren't. Right. It's a lot of people do a lot of things because of how much money can I make.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put people on the stage that
Yep.
can give them some information. Right. You were intentional about how you wanted people to feel while they were there and feeling like it was a priceless event. Right.
Yep.
And so I'm not sure what feedback you got from it, but it sounds like it was a hit. I do the same thing. I do these monthly mixers for people in the industry. I only take 25 people, but they're networking events. But because I hate networking, they're structured networking events. So when you come in, it's something different each time. But one example, you come in, you take someone else's name tag, right?
Okay.
So everyone has someone's name tag. I'm Alex today. You're Aisha, right? And then when everyone's there, okay, now go find the person with your name tag. Ask them 3 things about themselves. All right. And so now you can't get your name tag back unless you ask the question and you remember. Then I might have somebody else's name tag. So now I had to go ask them. Everything is interactive. And then now we're having a session where whose name tag did you have? What do you know about them? Everyone has to exchange social media. You have to exchange emails. And then we'll also do a thing like musical chairs where I ask the question.
Yeah.
And now you have to switch your seat to someone else. The more information and the more comfortable they feel, the more I've created this community. And now we have this Facebook group. And you can go in there, you can ask questions. You guys know where I can get this table, or I'm just not having a good day today. I just need some upliftment. And so my idea is creating communities. And that's why even with my workshop, I only accept 25 people. I'm very intimate. Although it's grand in terms of decor, it's 25 people.
I would come to your workshop.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, though. It's, again, the experience. So I'm not sitting in a room and you just, go talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Right.
It's uncomfortable.
Right.
And that's dope. And then how much is the workshop?
So $2,000 for the workshop. I do mixers. Those are like $150. I haven't done any this year because I've been so busy, but last year I did them every month.
Got you.
Still 25 people where you have custom cocktails, you have food, decor, because I put all this pressure on myself that anytime Endless Flair's name is on something, I'm thinking people expect like this big thing. So that is already anxiety. So sometimes I'm just not even going to do anything because I have to go big or I can't do it at all.
All right. So I want to run an idea by you.
Okay.
All right, here it goes. And you can say, Alex, don't do that at all. Or you can say, Alex, do it. All right. All right. So this is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
10 people.
10 people.
They meet me at a location.
Okay.
I have 2 black trucks. They get in the black truck. They leave the car. They get in the black truck. They blindfold. Right? They end up here. Right? We have a waitress. We have drinks. We have exotic food. And then, and hopefully, because hopefully it's couples. Right? And so hopefully it's 5 couples, 10 people. And then I'm here with a therapist and I'm here and talking about how to make money in your relationship, how to really boss up in your relationship and how to go to another level with each other, right? Very intimate. And once we do that, they get back in the black trucks, blindfold again, and they go to their cars.
Okay, so I love the whole idea besides the blindfolding, unless you can get these people, especially men, to be blindfolded.
Oh.
Unless, ahead of time, they're like, yes, we'll agree to this and we'll get in this truck. But if it's like, just show up at this location and you're like, I don't think that's going to turn out too well. But I love the idea. And I think it's beautiful that you said therapist.
Yeah.
Right? Because we don't talk about it enough. As you said, I'm the first person to talk about mental health. We just don't talk about it enough in our community. And it's important, and especially in marriage, because you're challenged way more in your marriage than you are when you're single.
Yeah.
So why aren't we creating those safe spaces for people to experience that? And then also talking about how do you make money? I feel like it's a win-win. The idea of the event itself, the intimate event, I think it's beautiful.
So the reason why it's blindfold, because it's called nowhere. It's like you're not supposed to know where you're at. It's just.
But I mean, just saying that ahead of time. Don't think they're gonna show up and park and then you're gonna blindfold them and then a guy is just gonna go for that, right? Number one. But I think, okay, this is the process. You're gonna show up here. They're gonna blindfold you, right? And do all of that. And I think if there's an understanding, I think it's a beautiful
Yeah.
I think it would be a
Very
great
intimate.
event.
Again, everything's on the
I'm all
house.
about intimate events.
Huh?
Everything for me
Yeah.
is intimate. My birthday, everything is always very intimate.
Because I think Mortgage Before Marriage. You know, I wrote the book. I love the book. It's an amazing book, and I feel like it helps. It already helped so many people.
Mhm.
The feedback I'm getting, and I don't know what happened to humans where they think they can't build a corporation in their marriage. I don't know what happened.
Well, nothing, it's not about anything happening. I mean, you do know what happened, right? Like, let's go
Well,
back 400 plus
yeah.
years where education is not privy to us,
Yeah.
even today,
Yeah.
right? Like, textbooks being taken out, Black
Yeah.
history being eliminated from a lot of
Mhm.
books and things like that. So, you know what happened.
Successful Black history.
Absolutely.
It's being eliminated.
Absolutely. All Black history,
Yep.
right? Like, anything that we've gone through and what we've created
Yeah.
is being eliminated, right?
So
And
that's what
so,
I'm saying. That's successful because we still talking about slaves. Like I don't think schools should still focus on that when it comes to when February hit. Let's talk about slaves. I think it's more let's talk about inventions.
invention.
and
So
stuff that
I
we have
believe
done. Yeah.
it's all that because
Yep.
to me it's still a little bit of slavery.
Yep.
But that's what happened,
Yeah.
right? And so
Right.
when you get people that break the mold and break generational curses like yourself, yeah, we talk about these things and we educate the people that want to be. Some people are stuck in their ways. You're not probably getting a 50, 60, 70, 80-year-old to understand these things,
Yeah.
right? It's like they're stuck in their way. So we know what happened, but it's our responsibility to just put the information out there and help who we can help and not
Exactly.
focus on anything else. But yeah, no, nothing happened that they just didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. And you've been blessed enough to be around people that was able to share that information with you, or you've done the research, just like me.
I jumped off the porch like you. No one. I made all my mistakes.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
And then I'm thinking about $300 per person. What you think?
Oh, I think it's great. It comes with food, drinks, and then a
Food,
whole
drinks,
experience of like
whole
a therapist and
experience.
how to make money.
How to make money?
That's light
Yeah.
to me.
Yep.
Like I could technically
How to-
charge like 500, right? Because of the experience.
As an experience. Yeah, dope. It's yeah. It might be 500. Thanks, Aisha. It might be 500. Look, you are watching Gem Drop. We don't gossip. We boss up. We'll be right back with Respect Your Breath. Kaboom.
Would you ask your mechanic for medical advice? Exactly. So when it comes to all real estate questions, call Thumbprint Realty at 617-287-9000. Thumbprint Realty, real estate done right.
So I say this all the time.